Welcome to another episode of the Coaster101 podcast. I'm Andrew Stillwell, checking in from North Carolina. Flying solo this week. My co-hosts Eric and Shane will be back next week. This week we're going to have a little bit of a different format show. We're going to talk about a charitable organization that is very near and dear to our hearts, and that organization is Give Kids the World in Central Florida. For those who aren't aware, Give Kids the World is a storybook village just outside of Orlando's theme parks. They provide critically ill children and their families cost-free Orlando vacations. And I am joined today by Give Kids the World's president, Pamela Landworth, who has been with Give Kids the World for 25 years at this point, and also their development manager, Stephen Amos.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. We are the destination for children all around the world who are battling a critical illness, and they share one wish, and that's to come experience all the magic that Central Florida has to offer. You've been around since 1986, and in that time have served about 176,000 families.
Wow. And I was doing some research on the website. That's from all 50 states, and you guys have reached families in over 70 foreign countries. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, we're up to 76 countries right now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about how Give Kids the World got its start? It's a very interesting story for those who don't know it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really one of those serendipitous kind of stories. The founder, Henry Landworth, had a very interesting background. Just briefly, he was born in Antwerp, Belgium, a Jewish family that unfortunately moved to Poland right before the outbreak of World War II. So both of his parents were killed in World War II, and then he and his twin sister Margot were in concentration camps from the age of 13 to 18. Mm-hmm. And then when they were freed, they made their way over to the United States. Henry went to, of course, didn't have any formal education, but went to a hotel school. And through a very series of, again, serendipitous moments, ended up being the general manager of the Starlight Motel that was the home to all of the original astronauts. So John Glenn and Alan Shepard, those original Mercury astronauts, and Walter Cronkite and Art Buchwald, they all stayed at his property, which would serve him very well later on. So he caught the eye. He later moved to a Holiday Inn where he became a GM, and he met the owner or the founder of Holiday Inn, Kemmons Wilson. And Kemmons was so taken with his story that he said, if you ever want to have a franchise, just come let me know. And so when Disney announced they were coming to Orlando, that's when Henry thought, well, that would be a good time to get a franchise. So he owned the very first Holiday Inn. It was actually called the Holiday Inn Main Gate East. It was right outside of the main gate of Walt Disney World.
Right.
So because of his, background, he was just always very philanthropic. But so when the wish granting organizations, in that time, Make-A-Wish, of course, was the first and, the largest as they are today. When they would identify a child whose wish was to go to Disney, they would reach out to Henry and say, if we can make all the other arrangements, would you put the family up for free? And of course, he would always say yes. And then one day his general manager came in and told him that a reservation was canceled. It was for a little girl named Amy from Virginia who'd been battling leukemia. And unfortunately for her, time ran out and she had passed away. So, Henry could have done one of two things. He could have either said, that's really too bad, we'll take care of the next family. But he didn't. He got very curious and he said, well, how could that happen? How could a child die before getting such a simple wish? And what he found was it was taking about 3 months to make all the necessary arrangements, getting the airfare, coordinating things with the doctor, calling calling the hotel, calling to get food and beverage arranged and the tickets for all the attractions. And when he found that out, he said, I think I can streamline that process. And he started Give Kids the World in a housekeeping storeroom of that Holiday Inn Main Gate East and started bringing children down in less than 24 hours if need be. And that is just an amazing story. He promised that he would never turn down a child. And in 34 and a half years now, we've never turned down a child. And it quickly moved. That first year, we only did 300 families. The next year, 600. The next year, 1,000. And what he was doing, he was going out to all of the hotels in the Central Florida area and getting them to pledge 10 hotel rooms each month. But at that time, there was only 20,000 total hotel rooms in the whole area. And it was taxing them. So he said, we need a village so that we'll never be constrained by hotel rooms. And that's the village started in 1989 with 8 villas. And you fast forward now, we have 166 villas. So pretty amazing story when you look back and see the growth and, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, completely wheelchair accessible. And it is a full week long experience for the entire family with entertainment every night, and of course getting to visit all of the wonderful theme parks here.
You mentioned the villas that are all, they're 2 bedroom, 2 bath. They're all handicapped accessible. What are some of the other facilities you all have at Give Kids the World Village?
We have 4 attractions that are wheelchair accessible, which is pretty amazing. So again, most of the theme parks won't have wheelchair attractions because of the time that it takes to get them off, capacity issues, and those kind of things. So we have our carousel, which is wheelchair accessible. We have Lori's Magical Flight. We have Kelly's Sunny Swing and a train, and they were all donated. Not the carousel, but the other 3 were donated by Zamperla, and the carousel was donated by Vacoma. So, I mean, these kids, I mean, you just have to see the look on a child's eyes the first time that they've ever been on an attraction, and the parents, how excited they are that finally they get to say yes to their child when they say, "Can I ride this or can I ride that?" But the whole village is wheelchair accessible. We have a boundless playground, and to become boundless, it's laid out like a giant Candyland game. To become boundless, 60% of it has to be wheelchair accessible. So we're probably the most wheelchair accessible place anywhere on the planet, and it's just amazing. And then in addition to those, we've got a game room. We celebrate Christmas every Thursday. We celebrate Halloween every Monday. We do a village idol program. So every night there's a big party. And then, of course, one of the favorite attractions is our ice cream. So we serve ice cream from 7:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. So if a child wants a banana split for breakfast, why not?
Of course. I mean, who doesn't want ice cream for breakfast?
Exactly.
That's fantastic. All those good things. It's obviously you guys are doing amazing work down there at Give Kids the World Village. But like the rest of the world, back in March, you had to temporarily stop operations, and then there was kind of a further advance of COVID where it was decided that Make a Wish would not be able to fulfill wishes to the theme parks. The theme parks in Orlando were closed for a while. How has it been not being able to host their Wish families?
It's depressing. I mean, to see this beautiful facility that is so colorful and whimsical, and we're used to hearing the sound of children's laughter and families laughing and talking about their day, and just so full of life and energy, because the kids, even though they have a critical illness, once they come here, their spirits are rekindled, and they just want to be a kid again. So to see it go from just full of life to just empty streets is just amazing. And so there's about 700 wishes each month that are being postponed
Mm-hmm.
with no end in sight right now, unfortunately. And when you think about it, these kids don't understand why their wish is on hold, because they're battling leukemia or brain cancer or Wilms tumor, and they're going, the world doesn't stop because I'm sick. Why is the world stopping because people have the flu? I mean, that in their mind, you have to think like a child. It's like, people have the flu. Okay, people get the flu all the time. Why is my wish on hold? So it's, you can imagine the disappointment, and then quite frankly, there's going to be kids who are not going to be able to wait it out. Children like Amy who just don't have the time.
Right.
And so we are trying to reach out to those kids. We sent every child whose wish was postponed a postcard. We got a note from a mom that Olivia, this little 3-year-old girl, she got the postcard and she's been sleeping with it every night since. A postcard. We started sending out boxes of hope to the children, saying, "Don't give up. Your wish is just postponed. It's not canceled." And we're sending them gifts and just trying to keep them connected, to keep their hopes up, because it's a ripple effect. It's, of course, from a business standpoint, we did have to lay off about 173 of our staff, and we have a
Mm-hmm.
very small bridge team right now. But Andrew, one of the big things is we fill 1,800 volunteer shifts a week.
Right.
And so now we don't have volunteers here. And for many of these were retired folks who this was their reason to get up every morning to come here and bring joy to these kids. So it's just, the ripple effect is incredible.
It is. Kind of going back, obviously, you said you've had to postpone 700 wishes a month. How does the occupancy capacity work at Give Kids the World? Is it scheduled? How far in advance are wishes scheduled?
Well, we had some scheduled as far in advance as December,
Okay.
because a lot of times families want to arrange it around a birthday or a special event like a holiday or
Mm-hmm.
something. So, but once COVID hit and we had to close, probably at first we thought we were going to be able to reopen on June 1 and then August 31st, and then it just kept getting, delayed. So
Right.
after about May, they stopped making reservations, and we're just waiting for. We do know that the wish granting organizations are going to get a 3-month notice from the national office when they're going to start allowing travel and theme park wishes. So we'll get about 3 months notice before. So right now we're just getting the village show ready on stage and backstage. So when we can open the doors, we will be ready.
And in the open letter that you wrote to the families, to the donors, to the volunteers that's on your website, you mentioned that that small what you called
The
what was
bridge team.
the bridge team. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
What is the bridge team currently working on? You mentioned there were projects in the works. I know the ice cream shop was either it's recently opened or it was getting ready to open right before COVID. But what are some of the projects that are in the works now at Give Kids the World Village?
Yeah, sadly, we were scheduled to do a soft opening on March 17th, the day before we had to close, and the hard opening on March 24th. So it's ready to go, ready to serve ice cream. But some of the other things, again, just because these were projects we already had funded, um, because, with CapEx projects. So we just finished repaving the whole village, which was great. We had gotten a grant to rebuild. We have a giant pirate ship where we have a beautiful 80,000 gallon resort pool that's, again, wheelchair accessible. It's a zero entry pool. We have special wheelchairs the kids can use to go right in and a splash pad. And
Mm-hmm.
we have this huge pirate ship that we have with a stage. And unfortunately, it's been deteriorating and we haven't been able to use it the last 6 months. So we had a $1.5 million grant to rebuild the pirate ship. And that's going to start by the end of this month. We'll demolish this one and move forward. It'll be ready for us in February. And then another project, the only other time that we've only other had to close the village, twice before. Once because of Hurricane Charlie, where we were closed for 10 days for obvious reasons, no power
Mm-hmm.
and the damage that was done. But in 2014, we did an extreme village makeover where we went in, we closed the village for 2 weeks, and we went in and completely gutted every single villa and redecorated it, brand new cabinets, brand new everything. And the life cycle of the FF&E, the fixtures, furnitures, and equipment, and the case goods was 7 years. So it's like, okay, so in January it would have been due again anyway. So now we're going to go back in and refresh all of that. So those are the two really major projects that we've going on. Besides, looking again at the front of the house and the back of the house, doing a massive spring cleaning. We were able to donate. We were able to donate 6 tons of food to the Second Harvest Food Bank because we don't know when we're going to be able to use it. We didn't want it to go bad. We also donated a truckload of frozen goods to the Osceola Council on Aging so they could provide meals for Meals on Wheels, and a lot of things to Gift for Teaching, which is a free store for teachers. So we're just, we're really just looking for glimmers of hope, and really, one of my favorite quotes is the best way to predict the future is to create it. So we're just, we're going on the offensive and looking at ways that we can get ready to welcome our families back.
I love it. And I had a friend of mine who's he's a former village volunteer. He works up at Carowinds now, and he's probably listening to this podcast. So Patrick, hello. He wanted me to ask you if there was one thing you could add to Give Kids the World Village that doesn't already exist. What would you add and why?
Wow, that's a great question. One of the things that we have in the dream right now is, we serve children from 3 to 18. And so a lot of the attractions and things that we do and are able to do are with, for that probably the 3-year-old to the 12-year-old kind of thing. So we're always looking for ways to engage the teenagers. And so, my office right now is in a wonderful building called the Gallery of Hope. And we want to kind of turn it into a lab where we can do some experiential things, so we can really engage the teenagers. And that's probably one of the things. If we could do anything at all, it would be to engage something like that. What else? Oh, okay. Steven's writing me a note here.
It was my guess of what I thought Cam would say.
Oh no, this would be awesome, and he's absolutely right. If I could, I would. So I would love an ice skating rink here. Obviously, ice skating. I love it, and I would love to do fireworks at least once during their experience while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, you don't. Yeah. It's so funny with the board. They have this joke. They go, Pam's got probably 900 pages on her dream list, and they're always afraid to ask me, well, what else are you going to dream up? I could go on forever.
Those are all great ideas. I love the ice skating rink. I love the fireworks. Those are two just quintessential things in Orlando that, you know,
Kind of have to understand. So when we talk about, we're very closely tied to the hospitality industry and the theme park industry. And the way I like to explain it is because we're a mini theme park, let's just face it, and a mini resort, or not
right.
even such a mini resort with 168 villas. But our theme park friends, they want to create that perfect guest experience because they want their guests to keep coming back time and time again. We want to create that perfect guest experience because our guests can't come back. A wish is a once in a lifetime. We don't get a second chance to do anything right. So when you ask me what's on my wish list, it's what we want to pack as much fun and excitement into this because we want to give these kids a reason to go back with a renewed spirit to battle their illness because we can't invite them back. And if we make a mistake, we don't get do-overs. So that's why I just keep thinking it's just not enough. And when people say, well, how much is enough? I mean, the families, it's free for the families. And I look at them and I go, would you pay the price to be here? It's not free for these families. They're paying the ultimate price of having a child with a critical illness. So no, I'll never stop dreaming about what we can bring here to the village.
And what is the average cost of a wish trip or a wish week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if we were to, the value of what we do is about $6,500, $6,500. So just to put it into perspective, we have to raise $21 million a year in cash, and then an additional $37 million in kind. And a lot of that is the tickets and the free parking and the wheelchair rentals and things like that. The theme parks are just so wonderful for us. The other thing I always like to share is we like for people to know that we're good stewards of the dollars that they donate to us because you're considered good as a charity out if out of every dollar you spend 65 cents goes directly to the mission and 35 cents to admin and fundraising. Our ratio is 92 cents of every dollar spent goes directly to the mission and only 8 cents to administrative and fundraising costs. So we're always considered one of the top rated charities in the United States.
For sure. And that's one of the reasons that we've backed you guys for several years now with the sales of our calendars and sponsorship of Coasting for Kids, which we're going to talk about with Steven in a little bit. But if people are looking to support or provide support right now, what's the easiest way to do that? Is it just donating, or is there?
Yeah, I think it's go to our website. We like to think the three ways that people can support us. We call it give, serve, or share. Obviously, people think, well, you're closed, so do you still need money? Well, it's really interesting. We have gone from a staff of 204 to a staff of 29. And so it's just as many businesses are, you're learning to do a lot more with a lot less. But let's face it, we've got to go around 168 villas. We got to go around and flush every toilet and run the dishwashers. And we have to keep this facility in tip top shape. Plus, the other thing that most businesses, let's face it, if a manicure state or a massage, whatever, was closed, people aren't going to double up and go twice, because they didn't get to go for, you're not going to get your hair cut 5 more times.
Right.
The children that are being postponed, they are going to come. So to date, 3,500 wishes have been postponed. That's going to be on top of the 700 normal wishes. So it's going to tax us tremendously. So yes, donations are still important. The serving and the serving is there. If you go to our website, there's ways that you can help us by, making wish pillows and those kinds of things to help us keep in stock all of those wonderful things. And then sharing our story. We're probably one of the best kept secrets in the United States, even though, we're a major national charity, we're still a very well kept secret. So I just encourage people to go to www.givekidstheworld.org and just look how can you help?
And I have one of my mom's friends. She had twins, and they both actually came to Give Kids the World, I believe, 2 years ago at this point. I've seen it firsthand via her social media, the efforts that you all have done. So again, I I cannot, if you're listening to this, I cannot recommend supporting Give Kids the World enough just because I've seen it. I've seen the smiles on the parents' faces, on the daughters' faces. It is, again, just a top notch charitable organization. So, as Pam said, gktw.org, and you can donate there, and it's a great way to support their mission for sure. And obviously, another way to support their mission right now is by one of their annual events, and we're joined by Stephen Amos, Director of Development for Give Kids the World. One of the events that we've participated in the past and have actually agreed to sponsor this year is the annual Coasting for Kids event. Stephen, can you tell our audience a little bit about how Coasting for Kids got its start?
Sure. Coasting for Kids has been around for nearly 15 years now. It started off as this exclusive relationship with Cedar Fair Parks, and over time now has grown to expand much larger than Cedar Fair. We're on both coasts most years, and everywhere in between. This year, prior to COVID, would have been our biggest year for theme park involvement. We had 17 parks involved. The event in its duration of the last 14 years, we've raised nearly $1 million just from the coaster enthusiasts and the Wish families who are coming back out to support the event.
Wow. You mentioned it was 17 parks. Unfortunately, again, due to COVID, it's down to 4. And 3 of those parks are actually taking place later this month. And those are Kennywood, Lake Compounce, and remind me of the third one?
Holiday World.
Holiday World. And Holiday World's taking place during Hollywood Nights. So for those interested, Stephen, what is the process of signing up for Coasting for Kids and participating?
Sure. Anyone can go to coastingforkids.com, but the process is pretty simple. Registration is free, and from there, we encourage everybody to try to raise $100. And with that $100, you're granted admission to the pre-event before the park opens, which consists of some exclusive ride time on their top roller coasters, which is followed by full admission for the rest of the day. So rather than buying a park ticket, it's an opportunity to basically reallocate those funds to go back to Give Kids a World with some of those exclusive benefits.
Mm-hmm. And in the past, it was designed more of a coaster marathon. I know when I participated at Carowinds in 2015, they had us riding Afterburn all day.
Yeah.
And after about 10 cycles through the ride, and it's 6 or 7 inversions, however many it has, I was a little dizzy, but I was very excited. It's no longer the coaster marathon, correct?
It's not. I think, Pam, didn't you do a roller coaster like 37 times in a row?
Yes, the Gemini at Cedar Point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Pam is really well versed in the coaster marathon. I think she would go. She was doing a process where she was doing a pledge base where for every time she did a ride, it would be a pledge per ride. So I think they probably had to force Pam off the attraction at some point.
Gemini wouldn't be too rough, I don't think. I've ridden Gemini, and it's nice and smooth. You could get a good number of laps on that for sure.
Pam's face would tell you otherwise.
It's the helix at the end where your head just goes like back and forth, and it's like, this can't be good for my head.
And the fourth park is Kentucky Kingdom, and their event is taking place. I'm looking at a calendar right now. It's the end of September. On their last operating day of the season. So what is it, Stephen, what has it kind of meant to you that the 4 parks who are still kind of stuck with you guys through COVID, through everything, what does their support mean to you?
It's incredible. And, for the other 13 parks, they had a lot of different reasons. A handful of them are not even opening for the 2020 season. And then a lot of other ones, it was just getting COVID, they passed the dates on these. So these 4, these events mean a lot more. And we've learned a lot in the last couple of years that these were really geared towards coaster enthusiasts, which are the best supporters we have for these type of events. But in the last year, we probably noticed that almost 80% of our riders were actually alumni families. They were kind of understanding that Give Kids the World's coming into their community. And it's this camaraderie that they were building, meeting other families who lived in the city that they just didn't know. And I think the hybrid of having the coaster enthusiasts and these Wish families together, it showed these coaster enthusiasts the impact that they were having because they were able to meet the Wish families. And then vice versa, the Wish families are able to meet these dedicated donors who are, they love roller coasters, but they're supporting Give Kids the World. So these 4, it means a lot. It's they're moving mountains with their their precautions and making sure that they have the absolute best experience. We're thrilled with how the signups are going this year, how the fundraisers is going. So all said and done, we're really happy with how this year is shaping out to be.
That is fantastic. Selfishly, if anybody would like to donate, I currently have a profile for lake compounds. You can find that at gktw.org/coasting and go through the lake compounds page and find my page.
I noticed that the second place person jumped up quite a bit overnight, so you have some competition coming up on you.
This is anyway. As I just said, if you're listening to this, please feel free to donate.
I love it.
But Stephen, what are some other events? I know you guys are doing some virtual runs and the Give Kids the World Challenge. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So we're in the midst of, we opened up registration last month for our Challenge for Hope, which is traditionally our 5K that we host here on property. And of course, this year it went virtual. People can go to challengeforhope.com and sign up for that. And what you get for signing up for that, you get a custom bib. And then what is really awesome is that the medal that we award everybody is designed each year by a wish child. So some custom art medals. It's only $39 to register, with almost all of that going right back to the mission. We're actually almost seeing the exact same numbers of people who registered for Challenge for Hope virtually, who do it on a normal year anyway. So there's a lot of dedicated people at home who are trying to figure out ways to support our mission. And then, moving into the next year, we should see everything resuming normal operation. I think the funniest event that we have is something called Over the Edge. It's where you rappel off a 32-story rooftop of the Hyatt Regency on International Drive. So for people who fundraise $1,000, I suppose you can call it fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
I've done it many times.
Pam does it like twice every time. She does it every day that it operates. So it's just one of those. It's almost like a coaster event where it's for thrill junkies who how often are you able to rappel off the rooftop of a tall building? So those are those fun ones. And then something that's kind of a theme park related event that's ongoing for us is our ride challenge. And it's primarily hosted at Walt Disney World. It's where people try to ride every single attraction in all 4 parks in one day. And it's just this, cult group of people who started it. And after 18 months of fundraising, it raised over $175,000 of people attempting to do it. I've been very fortunate. I have been able to complete it. I look at Pam. She's tried a couple times, but she has not.
Do you want to tell him when you completed it?
I went the week after the hurricane came last year, so the theme parks were pretty empty, so it was a whole lot easier to finish. But with that being said, it's an incredible group of people. It's the Walt Disney family, the team over there, enjoy seeing the enthusiasts come out there because it's all positive messaging. It's people enjoying the attractions, but all supporting a great cause.
And on the subject of challenges, Stephen, you and I are obviously Facebook friends, and for your birthday, you've done a birthday fundraiser on Facebook where you have tasked yourself to ride It's a Small World from park open to park closed. Is that correct?
It never started like that. The challenge was for every $100 that I'd raise, I'd do one consecutive pass on It's a Small World. So I can't tell if I have a lot of friends in the world or a lot of enemies in the world, but I've raised more than I think what a normal operation day can hold. We're nearing $6,000 raised, which means 60 passes on the attraction. So I can guarantee you the park's open from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. that I'll be sitting on there for 10 hours. And since I was running out of operation hours, I had to think of new incentives to entice donors. So I pledged that I would eat only turkey legs for the entire day if I met the amount that cost to fulfill a wish. So I'm about $600 off, and I can safely assume that by the time I wake up and I'm at the park by 9 a.m., I will only be consuming turkey legs for the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then I'll come to work Friday singing the song for everybody joyfully to hear. So
I love it. This is taking place tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, it's August 6th.
Okay. Yeah, this will have posted by the time you have completed this challenge. So we'll have to have you back on just to see after 10 hours of Small World how your mental capacity still is.
I'll make sure I live stream some of it so you can watch as much as you want.
I love it. Perfect. Well, again, for those listening, the best way to support Give Kids the World is to go to their website, gktw.org. You can follow them on social media at GKTW Village. I believe that's right. Give Kids the World Village. And that's Twitter and Instagram. They're on Facebook at Give Kids the World Village. Pam, Stephen, thank you all very much for your time. As a reminder, you can find us on all forms of social media at Coaster101. If you have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email us at podcast@coaster101.com. A quick shout out to Justin Mabry of JM Music Design for our theme music. And that's it for this week, and we will talk to y'all soon.